All right, everyone. So we have Toy Hirschman. She is from the Entre Ed Center, and she is going to give you a quick presentation. And if you have any questions or while Toy's giving presentations, if she wants some feedback, feel free to please use the chat function because it will be an interactive presentation. So I will keep an eye on the chat function for you.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Toy Hirschman, as Hannah said. I'm the Director of Programming for Entre Ed, and I apologize for my delay. I was, well, I'm just a weirdo today. So, so we're going to talk about entrepreneurship as a career choice. And what I'm going to walk you through is just some of the things that you need to know. I don't know if anyone wants to put in the chat. I'm full screen now, so I can't see it. What you know about entrepreneurship. Does anyone know what an entrepreneur is? Anybody want to share? And I can't see Hannah. You can see, well, maybe.
Yeah, I'll shout out some answers. I put in their own boss. Anyone else have any other entrepreneurship definitions? Anyone?
I will.
Creator.
Cool. So entrepreneurship is really, it's a career, but it can be really in any field at all. So an entrepreneur can be in any field. You can forge your own path no matter what you choose. If you are even in healthcare, in education, in think wildlife and fisheries, or any field that you're interested in, you can become an entrepreneur in that field. So it's kind of like the career that keeps on giving. When you're an entrepreneur, you set your own hours and your pay. And there's a couple of some good and some bad to that, because when you're an entrepreneur, you're responsible. So if you only work like 5 minutes a day, you're probably not going to be able to pay yourself a whole lot. But if you want to work hard and you want to forge your own path, you absolutely can. And then entrepreneurs work on things that they care about. So they are able to have a passion in a field and work towards a goal, rather than working for somebody else and working towards another person's or another company's goal. So there are goods and bads, gives and takes for an entrepreneur versus an employee. And people may choose one or the other based on a variety of factors. So we're going to talk about a couple of those differences. So if you're an entrepreneur, you work for yourself, and you can come up with your big idea, your big dream. You can scale your income. You are completely independent, which can be good or bad. And you work to live out your dream. But you also have to be super disciplined, and you're also generally taking a really big risk because you are putting yourself out there. So if your business doesn't work, it's on you, and there's no one to catch you if you fall. Of course, you can start over again and build back up, but you can fail. You're never 100% guaranteed as an entrepreneur. With an employee, you work for someone else. And again, that could be good or bad. You might you might really want to work for a big company, and that's what you want. And that's great. And that's your dream. And that's wonderful. But you're also working to build someone else's dreams. You're always trying to climb a ladder, and you depend on your boss for your income. So sometimes when you're an employee, you absolutely love your job, but sometimes you work to live for the weekend. So you're just working to put in hours and make a paycheck. You have to stick to a schedule. For instance, I am really against time clocks. I have a really hard time with time clocks. You get to stay in your comfort zone though, and you do stuff and you get paid, and you're pretty much safe. I mean, not everybody's 100% safe as far as their job's concerned, but as long as you do good work, you get paid and you don't have any worries. So again, everything comes with both advantages and disadvantages, and you just sort of have to figure out for yourself what is more important to you. So an entrepreneur is somebody that starts a business, but it also doesn't have to be you know, a startup. It can be a social enterprise. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but for instance, let's say you want to provide clean water to, you know, maybe some impoverished places overseas. So you start a nonprofit. That's still an entrepreneur. You're still starting a business. Maybe you want to run a campaign and help somebody become, you know, the next mayor or the next senator, and you're organizing and running and inventing the campaign. That's also very entrepreneurial. You can also think entrepreneurially inside of a company, and maybe you work for somebody else, but you have a lot of latitude to think and do and come up with things, and you're part of the vision of that company. So there are a variety of different ways. The point is that my reason for being here is to make sure that everybody knows what does it mean to be an entrepreneur or entrepreneurial, and how does that fit into some of the things you might explore in terms of your career. Entrepreneurship is definitely a career path. But the cool thing about it is, again, it can be in any field at all. So some of the traits, some of the behaviors and traits of successful entrepreneurs is that, one, you have a vision and you have passion. So a lot of times that term passion gets thrown around. And I know that many times in my life I said, well, I don't know what my passion is. It doesn't mean that you have to have this one thing that you feel like you're born to do. You have this idea and you're really excited about it. That's your passion. And you want to solve a problem for somebody else or for a group of people who would become your customers. So you have a vision and a passion, and you want to persevere. You're going to stick to it to pursue this idea. You have to be comfortable knowing that everything is uncertain, and you kind of have to face that uncertainty and persevere anyway. I know this year with the pandemic, we've all gotten really good at dealing with uncertainty, because we don't know from day to day whether we're going to be in school, out of school, what's going to happen. And so that's been really tough for a lot of people, just dealing with that. We don't know where this is going. You have to have a good deal of self-confidence. You have to believe that you can achieve this thing. So if you decide you're going to, you know, make socks, you have these really cool idea for socks, and you're going to support different organizations with some of your proceeds, and you have to believe that you're able to do this. You have to be adaptable and flexible. And again, with that uncertainty, you don't know what is going to happen with your business. So you have to be kind of, some people call it nimble. You have to be able to move quickly and change in the face of new information. The fun one, number 7, you have to be cool with breaking some of the rules, because when you start a new company, you're going to be disrupting that market in some way. So you're coming up with new rules for yourself and for your company. You have to be able to plan. You have to be involved. So you want to be involved in your community or with your audience. If you're marketing to moms with little kids and you've got some like great idea for a cereal bowl or something like that, you have to know your audience. You have to know what their pain points are. And you have to be self-motivated. You have to really want to do this and be able to give yourself a schedule and stick to it and keep going. One of the biggest things with entrepreneurship, I think probably the biggest thing when you get started, is you want to identify someone who has a problem, and maybe you're the person that has the problem, but maybe there are others that also have the same problem. But what is the problem that you're solving, and who are you solving it for? And then that is where your passion gets generated and you begin to build a business. And the cool thing about entrepreneurship is that you can do it at any time in your life. You can do it now. You can start a small business in school. I just got off a pitch competition this morning where a bunch of middle school students were all pitching ideas to some judges about their business ideas. And they have 4 real operating businesses. Some of them aren't making a whole bunch of money, but they are making money and they are moving forward. So that's really cool. These are 6th graders and 7th graders. It was really awesome to see. So what's the first step when you want to become an entrepreneur? The very first step is just the way you look at things, the way you see yourself. So mindset is huge in entrepreneurship. And a lot of times when I work with students in person, I I get to take them through this process of coming up with a product idea and actually building out a prototype and, getting your hands dirty and figuring out who your audience is. And it's a lot of fun to go through. But when you do something like that, it gives you more of that self-confidence to go out and start a business or think about, hey, maybe I might, after I get out of college or after I have a job for 10 years, maybe I might want to be an entrepreneur. But because I know that that's out there, I can think about that as part of maybe my career path. So that's really what I wanted to share with you. I was hoping to be able to do a Kahoot, but I didn't get it together. But I'd love to hear any questions that you guys might have about, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur, or how do I get started? Something I want to share is that a lot of times when we hear the term entrepreneur, we think about those like great examples, those like huge examples like Oprah or Steve Zuckerberg or somebody like that, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. We think about this like big, huge kind of celebrity types of people. And a lot of times you don't think about the guy who owns the restaurant down the street as an entrepreneur, or you don't think about, the accountant that your parents take their taxes to. That person started a business and has an accounting firm, and he or she is an entrepreneur. Or, maybe your aunt is a physician and she opens her own practice, and so she's an entrepreneur in addition to being a doctor, and that other guy's an entrepreneur in addition to being an accountant. So a lot of times we don't really see those great entrepreneurship examples that are right in front of our faces in our own communities. Many of your teachers probably in the summertime have other jobs or tutor or do something else besides teach. And that is also being an entrepreneur, even if you do something on the side or part-time. So I know for me, I work full-time for EntreEd, but I also have some contracting jobs that I do on the side as well. Did it go? Okay.
Thank you, Toy. I asked if there was any questions in the chat. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat for Toy, or even just mentioning any entrepreneurs that you know in the area. I work for Project Rise full time, and I do have a sewing business on the side that I do after hours for fun. So if there's anyone else that has anyone that they know that they would like to share, there is a lot of entrepreneurs in Southeastern Ohio. So feel free to use the chat.
Sorry, guys, my computer's like on fire from my internet. My internet's been so weird this week.
Any questions? No? And if you want to ask a question via voice, just go ahead and raise your hand and I can allow you to talk. Amity says she has a friend who does photography as a side business and loves being able to make her own schedule.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have a colleague actually that has a photography business on the side, and it's really cool, and it's empowering too if you can do something now when you're in school, because you kind of have that safety net of being in, if you can start like I interviewed so many people who are really, really huge entrepreneurs, and they got started mowing lawns or not shoveling snow, plowing snow, or using like a little four-wheeler to plow snow and doing things in their neighborhood. And then they got that kind of that fever of, oh, wow, this is really cool. I can be an entrepreneur. And then they went off to do bigger and better things because they had that experience. So it's a really cool thing to be able to experiment with. And you can do it, like I said, at any age. Actually, the average age for most people to become entrepreneurs is in their 40s.
Wow.
Because you get some job experience in your field, and then you go, oh, wait, I can do this on my own. So.
Yeah. Oh, there's one hand. Go ahead, Amity. You should be able to talk.
Hi. So I was wondering what you think about platforms like Etsy or utilizing Facebook pages to start your own businesses and things like that.
That's a great question. I think that that's wonderful. There are some, oh my gosh, there are some people who have made um, made millions of dollars on Etsy. And another one for teachers is I know a lot of friends of mine use Teachers Pay Teachers, and that's another big platform where whatever you're doing, there's probably a platform for it that makes sense. Like my son has an eBay store and he sells baseball cards and Pokemon. I don't know why Pokemon, but it's I mean, I think it's great. And I think you utilize whatever social media or outlet that you can to get your business going. You know, I have my own website, and you know, I've helped other people build websites too. That's another weird side gig that I do. But you know, I think if you can do that and as many platforms as you can to cross promote what you're doing is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Any other questions before we all log off for today?